What's up this morning, everyone? Welcome. Fine Thursday to you all. Good to see you. Why so early today? That's a very good question. So normally on Thursday, we record Commander Clash at like 1 Eastern, and then that finishes up, and as soon as Commander Clash finishes, I do the stream. For some reason, there's a random downtime on Magic Online today. Usually it's Wednesdays, so we never have to worry about it, but for some reason they pushed the downtime to Thursday this week, so we had to push back Commander Clash till later this afternoon, so it would be why I was normally streaming. So basically I switched things and figured, well, I'll stream before Commander Clash, stream, and then do Commander Clash once Moto comes back up. So yeah, that's why the schedule's a little wonky today. What's up, Sharkpog and Tessiger and Homebro Dwarf and Luke and Tuka Buddy and Lord Boys and O and One By and Solagress? How are y'all today? Hopefully everyone is having a spectacular day. We're gonna have some fun today. We are playing still my all-time favorite style of deck. Is that true? I don't know. I love two things in Magic the most. One is I love prison decks and just janking people out of the game. That's one of my favorite ways to play Magic. My other favorite way to play Magic is just max turtle all the value, blink your stuff, Panharmonimom shenanigans. And that's what we're doing today. So you might remember we played this deck a tiny bit as a backup deck a few streams ago. It has improved since then. I've been messing around with it, improving it, and the deck can do some hilarious things. It can also just get run over by aggro or whatever, but when we get to actually do what we want to do with this deck, it is, oh my god, one of the sweetest things. Where's the Panharmonimom? So, I was going back and forth. Yeah, Moto downtime starts in 28 minutes. It starts at noon Eastern time and goes for 3 hours. Monkazak, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big scoop share for you. Thank you. Yeah, I cut the actual Panharmonimom for more Elish Norns. I don't know if that's correct or not. Like, I mean, I think it's technically correct, but should there be one Panharmonimom just because it's Panharmonimom? We'll talk about the deck in a minute, though. So the plan today is we're gonna have some fun and do some value-y stuff and see what happens. How is Baldur's Gate? I see everyone talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Should I be playing this game? What is Baldur's Gate 3? I don't even know it. I mean, I know Baldur's Gate. It's a really good land in the Primeval Titan Gate deck, right? I mean, it's like Gate Cabal coffers. So I can see why people are excited for it. That's a lot of mana. But what actually is, what kind of game is Baldur's Gate? I'm so in the dark on this. It's a D&D game. Wait, are you like playing D&D, or it's a game based on D&D? Anyway, let's do our reminders, and then we can start playing Magic, because when this deck actually works, it's going to play some long and grindy games. Replay YouTube as we would find all the old streams, including this one in the future. Normal YouTube. Yesterday, we did some comboing with Nazguls and Radadrobic Frigates odds. Tomorrow, we're playing some Mucha Brew we're playing some Modern for Mucha Brew with a pretty janky deck that I'm excited to see if it actually works. Oh god, this deck. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. If you get a free goldfish sticker, just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. I always wonder why Unbound Flourishing is not more expensive. It hasn't really ever been reprinted, right? I don't think it's ever been reprinted. Has it been reprinted? It's never been reprinted. To me, this is like doubling season effects are always so expensive. Why is this one still like $10? I feel like this is a card, it's either going to get reprinted or a Panharmonimom for X-Spells or doubling season for X-Spells. It seems like eventually that's going to be a card people want. A reminder, if you want to help support the channel and the site in another way, you can check out the merch page. Donations, always appreciated, never required. $2 or more get your message read on stream. So what are we playing today? This deck. So this is the value-iest, pile-iest deck that you can think of in Historic. So what are we trying to do? Well, we're playing this deck because of Sun Titan. Also Acidic Slime, the other big new addition to this deck. And really, we're a Panharmonimom, Elish Norn, Blink, Dirtle style deck. In the early game, we're just kind of like drawing some cards, making some mana. What we're really trying to get to, though, is we have this ridiculous loop with Lae'zel's Acrobatics and Timeless Witness. So Lae'zel's Acrobatics, it blinks our entire team. If we high roll, it blinks our team twice. So idea is if we can actually get Lazelle's Acrobatics in Timeless Witness, in the late game, we can just blink our entire team maybe twice every turn. If we throw a Wall of Blossoms into the mix, we draw all the cards. If we throw a Skyclave into the mix, we exile all of our opponent's stuff. If we throw an Acidic Slime into the mix, we blow up all of our opponent's lands. So that's essentially the goal of the deck, is just like kind of dirtle around and stabilize, and eventually we do just the valuiest, biggest, grindiest thing imaginable. Also, do you really want the Panner? Okay, we can. So I consider Elish Norn a Panharmonicon, but we can add a literal Panharmonicon to the deck just to be, I mean, technically correct is I guess the best kind of correct. The problem is like Elish Norn is just Panharmonicon, but better in almost every situation. It's a Panharmonicon that you don't just die when you cast it. However, having one actual Panharmonicon is fun too, though. Where is Gandalf? So the problem with Gandalf is we're just not legendary enough for it. Like none of our stuff. Gandalf is really cool, and we should probably build a Gandalf deck at some point. The problem is it only works with legends and artifacts. If you look at our deck, nothing we're trying to blink and generate value with is legendary or an artifact. Like it's all just normal Wall of Blossoms, Skyclaves, Acidic Slimes. So Gandalf just doesn't actually really do anything in the deck, unfortunately, although it would be sweet if it could. Excluding, it's in, we put it in, we got it in, it's right here, it's above, well, below, I guess, the One Ring. There we go, we got a Panharmonicon. Are we actually just gonna play 82 cards? We're good against Flump anyway, because we're already a Yari on deck, so we already have 80 cards. I don't know what to cut. Yeah, 80, 82. Who's counting? What's the difference? I mean, I guess we could go one Elish Norn, but Elish Norn is just like so much better than Panharmonicon. It's just like Panharmonicon the 2023 edition. Oh, so how is everyone today? Oh, did you see? So the news of the day is the One Ring actually was sold. It seems like in the end it ends up being $2 million apparently, which, oh my goodness, that is, I would have never guessed. I mean, once we started to see the offers come in, it kind of became clear. Whatever, we'll play 82 cards, fine. Once the offers started to come in, it became clear that it was going to be pretty expensive. When they first announced it, though, I was thinking of 50K, 100K, something like that. My question for you is, chat, let's say the One Ring goes up for auction. Yeah, Post Malone got it. Let's say 5 years from now, Post Malone decides he wants to sell it. 10 years from now, whatever. Puts it up for auction, sticks it on eBay or whatever. What do you think it sells for, more or less? I kind of feel like, so for one thing, I imagine Post will just probably never sell it and he'll own it forever, which is awesome. But let's say he did. My guess is it would sell for less, right? That would be my guess. I will say, so a lot of people have brought up the taxes thing. I don't know if this is true or not. So this all went down in Canada, and it all went down in Canada. From what a couple of Canadians have said, and I haven't, this is just from what random people have said, like on social media, and maybe someone's from Canada here and they know, is it true that in Canada you don't pay taxes on a windfall? So a couple of people said that the way taxes work in Canada, like if you win the lottery or get the One Ring in a booster pack, you don't actually have to pay taxes on that. Is that true? Oh, so this is actually just like 2.6 million Canadian dollars in someone's pocket. That's actually, wow. That's way, if that happened over here, you would have to pay like half of that in taxes, I think. Like, you would, yeah, you sell it for 2 million, you'd get $1 million or something. So that's actually like pretty sweet. Yeah, don't get me started on, so I am someone who I don't mind paying taxes. Like, I never complain about paying taxes. I feel like we do good things. In theory, we need to pay taxes because there's things we want out of our society, like roads and schools and things like that. So I don't complain about taxes. One thing I will complain heavily about our taxes, though, is our system is so messed up. It frustrates me to no end. Like, there's really easy ways to make it so we could all just file our taxes way simpler, way easier. But we can never pass them because there's this huge this huge conglomerate of tax preparers. It's like $1 billion industry of people that prepare other people's taxes. So whenever we try to pass a law that's like, hey, let's let people pay their taxes really simply, all the tax preparers come in and they take in essentially just like say no when the government goes along with them. So we can never improve any of that stuff because of lobbying. Yeah, seriously, out of here, TurboTax. H&R Block. I don't know if this worked. I tried this morning to install the untap tracker. Is it working? Can you hover cards and so forth again? I got rid of the old one. Switched to the untap tracker. Fingers crossed that I did it correctly, and you can hover cards and see deck lists and stuff. Yeah, Post Malone bought it. I thought you like miserable decks like Death and Taxes. Oh, I love miserable decks like Death and Taxes. Ha! All right, sweet. Seems like it's working. So we're back in business with the overlay. TurboTax. That does sound like a Magic archetype, doesn't it? But we can't call it that because tax has negative connotations like scam. Turbo, blow up your lands with Ghost Quarter and small creatures. Joopy, welcome to the Fish Bowl. Thank you so much for your Delver. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup to your favor. Thank you. I think we actually just attack with both. We attack with both. If our opponent blocks, that's great. We just Sun Titan back whatever they block. If they don't block, do we still just play Sun Titan? Even though we have nothing in the graveyard? Maybe. It is a 6/6. A 6/6 is still pretty big. Hey, Seth, do you think you can just play Smeagol with Wood Elves with more... Hey, Seth, do you think you can just play Smeagol as a Wood Elves with Morbid that maybe retriggers over Wood Elves, Fairhaven Elves, etc.? In a sacrifice deck, I think so. If you're just playing a generic deck and like hoping that Morbid triggers, because it only works during your turn, I don't think it'll trigger enough. But if you actually have a way to sacrifice regularly, then I think you can. Yeah, Wall of Blossoms Yarion's probably better. It does feel bad to run out. Ooh, wait, okay, this is way better. Way better. All right, how about a Skyclave? Gain a life, snipe your DRC. And then we'll blink this guy. Wow, that was a good draw. Blink that Skyclave. And Delver Secrets. Nice knowing ya. I have a fun Smeagol deck. Ooh, let me see, Birding Buyer. Are we done? Are we done, Delver? Have we been delved? I saw a deck that ran 9 lives with Limity, prevents all damage and prevents all counters going at 9 lives. Yeah, we've played 9 lives Limity Lock before. Regarding Scam versus Evoke, I do think that Scam is slightly reductive to one deck in particular when it really is most modern decks have auto wins. Calling one deck Scam is kind of weird. Evoke actually says what the deck does. That's a fair argument. I don't know if I agree, but I can listen to that. For me, I feel like deck names, the important thing is you want other people to know what deck you're talking about. When you say a thing, you want other people to be like, "Oh yeah, I know what that means." So if you say Rakdos Scam and people envision the Grief You Twice, play a Blood Moon, whatever, like archetype, then I think it's a successful name. But I think it is true that a lot of decks have a nut draw. Although double Grief on turn 1, that's pretty scammy. Let's blink the Innkeeper. Old school Magic players always had some deck names after pizza or something. Yeah, cereal, that was a big one. There were so many breakfast cereal decks back in the day. Cheerios, Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles, Wheaties, Raisin Bran, Second Breakfast. Actually, cephalid breakfast, not second breakfast. Yeah, it was, right? Lucky Charms. What do you think of deck names like that? We've really, I think, as a community, I think we've moved away from that style of deck name. Do you think that's good or bad? This is going to be a pretty good Sun Titan. Elias Babylon! All right, Sun Titan's such a good card. Sun Titan comes down. It gets back Soul Herder. Yes, please. And we gain a life. End of turn. We will blink the Sun Titan. That'll get back his Skyclave Apparition. That'll gain us a life. And that'll get rid of an Arclight Phoenix. Yeah, and GG, Sun Titan. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that the Titan cycle stands up a decade later. Not many creatures from 2011, whatever they were, like, not many creatures from that era are still good today. The Titan cycle is one of, like, look at Baneslayer. Baneslayer went from, oh my god, $50 Wallet Slayer, best creature of all time, to bulk rare, no one plays it, like, fringe sideboard card. And that was from the same era. The Titans, though, they actually still stand up to some extent. Before the internet, players gave creative names to decks to try to hide their game plan from their opponents. Yeah, I guess that actually is part of it. I like creative names, but at the same time, I can see how they're... Wow, it's not going to work, is it? Are you hoping to surveil the right card type? There's only 3 card types. Uh-huh. So, you know, surveil the right card type? No. Okay. That was a good attempt. Opponent does find an Arclight. They get back an Arclight. The DRC grows and shrinks. Opponent does not realize that it's shrunk. We will kill it. Oh no, opponent. I mean, I guess it doesn't, none of this matters because we have Sun Titan. Let's do a little bit of attacking. Opponent, would you like to die? The problem with the creative serial names, though, is like, the problem with creative serial names is no one knows what it means, right? Like, if you have a combo deck that's called Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles, that doesn't mean anything to someone who doesn't already know Magic really well. And maybe not to some people who do know Magic really well. So I can see why we've moved away from them, though. Like, ooh, the Primordial Cycle is still pretty good. What album name would I use? Album name for a deck? Ooh. There's got to be a good album name for a deck. What's an album name that would be good for this deck? That's actually an interesting question. The Mississippi River deck. Yeah, I don't really understand where that name comes from. You can still see the remnants of it. Legacy players still get away with it a little bit. Blinded by the Light, that's not bad. Graveyard stuff. So Soul Guide Lantern in. Settle the Wreckage could be kind of funny. Do we even need more removal? We could bring in Fragment Reality. I don't know if we need it. We have to. I'm sorry, Panharmonimom. I love you. I still love you, but in this matchup, you're just too slow. This is actually a really bad slime matchup, too. I've been losing to Gates all the time. I can't. Oh, Here Comes the Sun is actually, that's the best one we've seen so far. I'm into Blink-182. I haven't listened to Blink-182 in so long. I could probably still, like, say all the lyrics to All the Small Things, though, or whatever. There was a time when I listened to a lot of Blink-182. It's amazing to me how music has the power to remain in our brains forever. Like, literally forever. Are we putting Mom to the bottom? Probably. What is our plan with this hand? So we got Soul Guide. Yeah, I think Mom's got to go bottom for now. Yeah, isn't that wild how music just has such a huge impact on our brains that, like, you cannot listen to a song for 20 years and then it comes on the radio and you still know every word, everyone. I mean, Blink-182 has some decent pop punk songs. Hey, what's up, Frost? How are you? Titans are all from Historic Anthology. They are, yes. This is all from the new anthology. Abundant. Oh, chat, what do you think about Commander Masters Draft? Is that something that's interesting to you or not? So we can't do it yet because it's not up. But by the time we do our next stream, we could do a Commander Masters Draft. Is the idea of drafting Commander Masters exciting or boring? I'm on the fence. I'm really on the fence. It's like Commander Legend. So it's going to be the, like, draft a deck and then play a Commander game as your actual gameplay. About it. Going off of the DRC. Way too expensive draft IRL. I mean, we'd be able to play it on Moto, so the price will be fine. The decks are way cheaper on Moto. About it. Alright, cast a bunch of spells. They don't really do much. Goes to combat, gets and hits us. Well, we will untap. We'll play a tap land past the turn. I mean, with Soul Guide Lantern, things can't go too wrong here. If they can actually get back a Phoenix, we can wipe the graveyard. Wow, another looting. Oh boy, opponent is setting us up very well for this Soul Guide Lantern. Opponent, Mills. I did enjoy Commander Legends for 1 week, but didn't want to go back to it. I'm sure it'll feel the same way. Commander Legends, it was fun, but it was so grindy. I remember just the gameplay, it took so long. So that was my biggest issue with it. Like, it was fun to draft, but the gameplay was just super time consuming and slow. Well, I think we nuke the graveyard before they get back this Ox. All right, can we beat 2 Dragon Rage Channelers? That is the question. We need to set up Lazelle's Acrobatics. Let's Wall of Blossoms, draw a card. I think that's our game plan, is set up even a medium Lazelle's Acrobatics is going to be sweet. Once we get the Innkeeper down, just blinking everything gains us a bunch of life. Ooh, Expressive Iteration. That is a good way to refill after the graveyard wipe. What do you think about what do you think you and the crew could do a Commander Clash draft episode? Yeah, it's something we've discussed. I wasn't sure if people would like it or not. I was very much on the fence. I feel like, so my experience with limited content is I very much enjoy the draft, but I don't really enjoy watching the gameplay. If you watch limited content, you watch whoever, pick your favorite limited content producer. Do you actually watch the gameplay too, or do you watch the draft and then just like kind of fast forward through and see the record? Because that's how I have interacted with most people's draft content, is the drafting itself is very fun, but then the gameplay of limited I find pretty boring most of the time, so I skip through it. So that was my concern. Like, the idea of all of us doing a draft would be fun. I don't know how the gameplay would be, though. I don't know if the gameplay would be as enjoyable. Wall of Blossoms. So I think it would have to be, wow, we have drawn, in our 80 card deck, we have literally drawn every Wall of Blossoms. Every single one. So if we play Wall of Blossoms, we can draw a card. We're just going to keep doing this. Your ground creatures are done, opponent. Done. You will never hit us on the ground. It's pretty much the reason why I play auto battlers instead of MTG limited these days. The gameplay just isn't that much fun, and it's like 80% of a draft. Yeah, I know the feeling. Hey, what's up, Kai? Wait, are you the real Kai? I actually don't know Kai's Twitch name. I assume that's the real Kai. Congrats if you are the real Kai. Congrats on the performance this past weekend. Pretty impressive. What auto battlers have you been playing? Like Battlegrounds? I played Battlegrounds. I liked Storybook Brawl a lot. The fact that ended due to all the FTX stuff was sad, because I actually thought Storybook Brawl was better than Battlegrounds. Those are the only two that I've really played, though. Nut Crokies for this 6 month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big scoop for you. Thank ya. Gameplay has been the saving grace for Lord of the Rings Limited, though. Poor greed. Yeah, greatest Magic player of all time in the chat. Also, I assume a very good Battlegrounds player. I mean, the skills transfer over, right? Like, if you're that good at Magic, you got to be pretty good at Storybook Brawl or Battlegrounds. Steam vents for our boner day. Well, we have a One Ring. Did they find more? No. Our opponents cast so many spells and they cannot turn on these Dragon Rage channelers. Oh, did they get there? They did find a Phoenix finally. But then this is going to come into play. Oh God. All right, we might have left too soon. They did find them. Oh, that's not great. That's not great. Huh. How do we get out of this? So we can Innkeeper Lazelle's Acrobatics. We'll draw. So we'll draw 3. We'll gain 3. But then we're still pretty dead. We could Innkeeper One Ring. Yeah, we have not hit white mana this game. We've drew all the Glasspool Mimics. I don't know how we get out of this. Are we just in the, hope the One Ring saves us plan? That might be the best bet. Although I'm not sure what we're drawing into. We need more graveyard hate, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, this does make sure we don't die this turn. I think we're just going to draw now. Oh, another Acrobatics. The problem is we're going to die next turn. We're doing some Super Blinky Sun Titan Lazelle's Acrobatics. Basically Panharmonimom shenanigans. They never got Storybook Brawl to Mac before FTX imploded. Yeah. It was too bad. The spell aspect of Storybook Brawl, I thought, really added a cool aspect to the game compared to Battlegrounds. I thought that was I mean, maybe someone will steal that idea eventually, but that's one thing that was kind of missing. Like, Battlegrounds, I think, is really fun, but it gets a little samey after a while sometimes for me. The spells in Storybook Brawl added this just like extra layer to the game that I think gave it even more replayability. What does everyone think about the new Commander decks? Not bad for precons. Seems some fun stuff to pick up and play low power games at the store. I like the new precons. I think the big concern about the new precons is I think they're solid decks. I think they're better than the typical precon deck. The main downside is they're just very expensive compared to most precons. So if the price is not a concern, I think they're pretty solid decks that you can pick up and play at a, mid-power table and you'll do fine with. If you have to spend $150 on one or something, though, it becomes a little bit worse. Is it Eldraine spoiler day? No, today, early stream because of Moto, actually, of all things. Ilmarza Gaming, first time sub. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup here for you. Yeah, so normally I do, on Thursdays, record Commander Clash in the afternoon, and then I finish and do the stream. There's a Moto downtime today randomly, so we can't record Commander Clash in the afternoon. So basically I had to switch the schedule. So I'm gonna stream and then stop and do some Motoing. Sun Titan. That doesn't say. All right, One Ring. All right, One Ring. You better be good. I don't even know what we can draw here that's gonna save us at this point. I guess more rings. Rings and rings. 2023 Magic. Can I draw another One Ring? Did you read Tomer's editor's comments in the Commander deck tier list? He was squirming. I didn't. I don't usually go back. If I'm on a podcast, oh my god, we did draw another One Ring. If I'm on a podcast, I don't usually go back and watch the podcast, so I always miss Tomer's note. All right, no counters. No counters. We can play for a Spell Pierce. I don't think Phoenix plays that many counters typically. Sweltering Suns. Consider, okay. I mean, we're officially not dead. I don't know if we're alive, but I mean, I guess if we just keep drawing One Rings, we can do this. We can do this forever. Now I think we gotta play the Innkeeper. Finally make a white mana. And pass the turn. Watch our opponent have Bone Crusher. I wonder if they're tech to beat the One Ring. They could have a Bone Crusher. That would do it. All right, more Arc Lights. Yes, we get it, opponent. If we ever don't draw One Ring, we're super dead. About it. Yeah, get in there. And bitch, what? Maybe they actually are Bone Crushing us. Yeah, Sweltering Sun not looking great against this board. Okay, can we draw another One Ring? 2 out of 64. We do get to draw more cards, but... Charm Prince. I guess even another white source that's untapped. Actually, yeah, we need a white source that's untapped. Gilded Goose. So we're at 6. We still only have one source of white mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Well, play Gilded Goose. Gain a life. Play the tap land. Oh, yeah, if we had more white mana, this would be so much easier. Play Wall of... I mean, if they have a counter, they're going to get us. We can't really beat a counter. Wall of Blossoms. Maybe we can gain enough life with this Acrobatics. If we high roll, it gets easier. Okay. Gain a life. Oh, we should not have played that. Triumph. I guess at this point, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So I guess we got to Acrobatics now. We're at 8. Yeah, I mean, we just got to go for it. All right, no counters, no removal. If they can kill the Prosperous Innkeeper or counter this, it's over. Oh, all right. All right, all right. The lack of white mana really got us there. We could have Yarn and Blink the Ring, but the ring's protection only works if you cast it. So we wouldn't have gotten protection again. So I think that we would have just been dead if we went that direction. It would have resent the ring counters, which is not bad. Yeah, I guess we do want Fragment Reality. We would have reset the ring counters, but then we would have just died to the Flyers anyway. Maybe we go like 1 Sun Titan, 1 Timeless Witness. Let's try it like that. Yeah, that was a good choice. What do you think about the ring, guy? Like, you had to play a whole pro tour with it. Is it a card that you think is a... I mean, it's obviously powerful. I'm curious. I'm curious how good you think it is. Fine in Modern? No bans. Interesting. What about unbans? Are you in the unban? Are you in the unban train? I'm kind of feeling like, so if we want to go no bans, I'm kind of okay with that. But I'm also kind of like, if we're going to have One Rings and Bowmasters and Ragavans and Furies and Griefs, like, do we really want like punishing fire on the ban list? Do we really need to have Splinter Twin on the, like, Splinter Twin to me looks so quaint and just like outdated compared to what's going on in the format today. So I'm kind of on the, like, maybe we just unban a bunch of stuff train. Like, let the format stay. Don't worry about banning anything, but just don't unban the, like, fast mana or like combo engines. Those are the cards I would not like to see unbanned. Like, I don't want to deal with KCI or something like that. That does not sound like a good time. But as far as the, like, fair cards that were just like kind of too good for their meta a decade ago, like, whatever. If you want to shock me for 3 mana every turn, please do it. Even like Jide, like, oh, if you equip the Jide, you're gonna, like, eventually kill the small creatures. Like, you can equip a Colossus Hammer and you just kill me. Like, I will take my chances with Umezawa's Jide, like, 10 times out of 10 compared to a Hammer or a Fury. So I hope we get some unbans. Pioneer, here's a good one for you, Chad. I've been thinking about this. The last day, rather than thinking about what should be banned, I've been thinking about what could we unban. What do you think about Copter, Smuggler's Copter, and Pioneer? I was going through the Pioneer ban list. I think almost every single card should stay banned. There's not a lot on the Pioneer ban list that I think would be safe to unban. The one card, though, that when I saw it, I was like, you know what? This might be okay, was Smuggler's Copter. I can see a pretty strong argument, I think, for unbanning Smuggler's Copter. Like, ban announcement's Monday, so we got a couple days to go. Like, Smuggler's Copter, when they first launched Pioneer, they did the, like, we're not really going to ban anything, and then we're going to, like, let you play the format, and we'll ban stuff every week until the ban list is set. Smuggler's Copter was on the first ban list after they started doing that. All right, Gilded Goose, down, honk, honk. That was on the first ban list. Back when it was banned, monocolor aggro decks were kind of, like, dominant. Mono black aggro was, like, the best deck in the format. So that's why they banned it. It was really good in these monocolor aggro decks. The meta shifted so much. There's a lot more answers now. Mono Green Devotion didn't even play Karn back then. That was, like, not a thing. Looking at the original Mono Green Devotion decks are so funny. They're playing, like, Vivians and just, like, they had the Nykthos part. They figured that out, that Nykthos and a bunch of mana symbols was really good. But it took people a while to realize, oh, like, Karn the Great Creator is absurd in a Devotion deck. Unban Veil of Summer. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about Catch you at work at lunch. Why so early? My schedule got a little mixed up today. Normally on Thursday I record Commander Clash in the afternoon and then stream right after I'm done with Commander Clash. But they randomly shifted Moto downtime. They don't have flash creatures, right? Nah. They randomly shifted Moto downtime from, I mean, I guess I could play Snapcaster. They randomly shifted Moto downtime from yesterday to today. So Moto's down when we're normally recording Commander Clash. So ended up switching the schedule. So stream and then stop streaming, go record Commander Clash once Moto's up. That's the new plan for the day. What would Veil of Summer Cycle look like? I mean, at that power level, I don't even know. Veil of Summer that's one of those, like, 2020 super power creepy cards or 2019 super power creepy cards. I can't even imagine, like, what would the other colors version look like if they were going to maintain that power level? Because Veil of Summer is like a cross-format all-star banned in some formats. It's not like it's pretty okay. It's like, this is a legit ridiculous over-the-top card. Do you think that Karn is fine as a staple in Eternal formats, or is it going to keep causing more problems than it's worth? So if you want an argument for okay, I know I'm biased because I hate Karn's play pattern. It's one of my least favorite cards in older formats. So my personal bias is I want to see that card banned in every form. I would be happy if it was banned in Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, you name a format, I would like to see it banned. But that's just my dislike for the card and my bias against the card. I don't think that my bias is necessarily the the right... I don't think my personal preference is necessarily the right reason to ban cards. If you want an argument, though, that I think is pretty convincing, and would be convincing to WotC, look at the birthing pod ban announcement. Let me see if I can find this. I'll pull this up in just a minute. I think the same reasoning that Wizards use for birthing pod applies very much to Karn, except maybe even more so in some ways. Ooh, Soul Herder is a pretty nice draw. Why is our opponent not doing anything? That is a little suspicious. Does this kill this? Get a 1/1 block the Innkeeper? Okay. Not great, not great. Well, there goes our Innkeeper. This does get got by Mystical Dispute, but I think we gotta run it out. We have nothing to do with this Soul Herder at the moment. Maybe we shouldn't have attacked with the Innkeeper. That might have been a bit loose. All right, opponent. Does Yarian resolve on an empty board? But if you look at the birthing pod announcement. Here's the announcement from the man birthing pod. Over the past year, birthing pod decks have won significantly more Grand Prix, remember those, than any other modern deck, and compose the largest percentage of the field. So it's won tournaments, it's heavily played. Each year, new powerful options are printed, most recently Siege Rhino. Over time, this creates a growing gap between the strength of pod decks and the other creature decks. So essentially, the heart of the argument is the deck's really good. It's won a lot, and we keep making more and more creatures, and they keep getting better and better. So over time, Birthing Pod gets stronger and stronger. I think you can argue the same thing. I think you can argue the same thing about Karn, right? Like, they keep making more and more artifacts every year. The strength of the Karn board grows every year as they add more. We've seen Stonebrain just added recently. Like, there's a lot of new additions. So I think you can say the same thing about Karn. So I think that's a pretty WotC-friendly argument for banning it. Like, you want to keep printing artifacts. Karn's really busted because it tutors up all the artifacts you need. If Birthing Pod and Siege Rhino is a problem, isn't Karn in every good artifact in existence a problem? All right, opponent is going to counter it. So that would be my WotC-friendly argument. Well, pass the turn. Could use something to do with this Soul Herder here. Opponent, Faithless Looting, returns, a little flashback action. I've been working on a black, blue, white, return your will to play your hand. I'm not sure what those words mean, but it sounds cool. Oh, that's actually a nice draw. Wall of Blossoms, draw a card. All right, yeah. Soul Herder. Pay for Mystical Dispute. Pass the turn. Blank the wall. Wouldn't mind finding an Ephemerate or a Lazelle's Acrobatics. Oh, or even more forests. Okay. Even more forests, not ideal. DRC for our opponent. Is the Arclight coming back? Sun Titan would be sweet. I mean, we have a lot of good draws. Our deck has some really good big stuff. So here's the real question. Should power go up or down? So the power of Magic overall, like, I think at this point it's inevitable the power will keep going up. Hey, what's up, Doug? Good morning, good morning. I think it's inevitable. I don't think there's any way to make the power go down now. Well, like, there are ways, but none of those ways would be palatable for what WotC's trying to do. Like, I don't think they want to print a Mercadian Mask, or print a Kamigawa, or print a, like, you know, a super powered down set, a super powered down year of cards to reset the power level. And plus, it doesn't really help with older formats anyway. Like, yes, you could do that to, like, kind of try to help with This is unfortunate. You could do it to kind of try to help with like standard, but it wouldn't really matter for a format like Modern or Legacy anyway, because the Power Cup cards already exist there. Oh, they have 4 now? Wait. Sorcery, instant creature, land. All right. Well, I guess we gotta let this go. We could fragment reality. Whoa! That is unfortunate. All right, now we might be in trouble. The top cards of our opponent's deck was, unfortunately, another Arclight Phoenix. Yeah, I did not find our graveyard. I mean, we can get rid of a Arclight Phoenix with Fragment Reality, although our opponent's going to get a replacement. Yeah, that is disappointing. All right. Opponent, even more DRCs. All right, we need a real draw. We need a real draw right now. Sun Titan's pretty real. Sun Titan's probably our best draw. Give back the Soul Herder. Play the land, end of turn. Soul Herder. Sun Titan is so good. Oh, I love Sun Titan. Play the Sun Titan. Get back Skyclave. Yes, please. Get rid of the Arclight. Grow the Soul Herder. And that is what Sun Titan can do. Opponent. Oh, did you see they also announced some... Wow, another Faithless Looting. They also announced some Hasbro finances today. Apparently, the Lord of the Rings set will be the best-selling Magic set of all time. They said the current best-selling Magic set is Modern Horizons. I wonder if I can find the numbers before I mess it up. I believe that they said it took Modern Horizons 2 years to sell. I want to say, all right, let me see if I can find the numbers. For some reason, I want to say 2 billion, but that might not be correct. Maybe it was like 200 million. I wonder if I can find it. But regardless, let's see. Oh, okay. Modern Horizons took 2 years to make 200 million. And that's the best-selling set of all time. They expect that the Lord of the Rings set is going to do that by the end of the year, in like several months. So is that a vote for Universes Beyond? I mean, from WotC's perspective, it definitely is, right? From WotC's perspective, that certainly seems like a vote in favor of Universes Beyond. I don't know if it changes anything from our perspective. You either like it or you don't like it, but I mean, the good news is, even for players, right, that's bringing more people into the game, which I think is good for everyone. Like, I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, just like, even in the Twitch stream, there's not a million people, but we've had several people that like pop their head in and just say, hey, I'm a new player, I just started playing, or I haven't played in 20 years, just started playing, got any advice? What IP would sell as well? That is a good question. Is this the pinnacle of Universes Beyond? How skewed is it by the hunt for the One Ring? I mean, I'm sure that helps, although at the same time, can't they just do that again? Can't you do a 1-of-1 Darth Vader or 1-of-1, like, choose a thing? Boy, opponent found another one. Opponent's very good at finding these Arclights. Well, we're back to being dead if we don't draw something. Even with the Sun Titan. Even more Sun Titans. Well, I guess that means we're not literally dead. Okay, so go to combat. Attack, attack. Sun Titan, get back Innkeeper. Get a treasure. Hit ya. Sun Titan. Gain a life. Get back Soul Herder. Soul Herder. Do we get back Gilded Goose, or do we eat the Arclight? We're in. Yeah, let's bring a Sun Titan. I think that's fine. I think we're gonna get the Goose. We could just blink Skyclave and kill the exile the Arclight, but I think just getting back the Goose. The Goose kind of blocks 2 creatures in a weird way. We can block one and then sack the food, and that essentially soaks up 2 attacks. And we kind of want stuff to die now because we've reanimated our entire graveyard. We have a new donation from Lucid. $3 donation. Hey, Seth, I'm really hoping for a huge unban on Monday. Do you have any decks you would want to build in a pre-modern-esque world of modern? I mean, I'm also rooting for unbans. It really depends on what would get unbanned. I think, like, if they unban Splinter Twin, what are you going to do with it? You're going to play Splinter Twin. There's not a whole lot of directions that you would go with it, I don't think. What would be some of the more interesting... Oh, boy. Another finale. What would be some of the more interesting options? I think, like, Umezawa's Jitte would open up some possibilities. If they unbanned the Red Shoal, there's probably a pretty janky combo deck that we could build with that. So there's some interesting options. If they unbanned Artifact Lands, there's all of a sudden a ton of possibilities. You could probably the obvious home is like Affinity, but you could build like Tesserator or something would be cool. Artifact Lands, if they're gonna keep Karn around, might be pretty safe actually, come to think of it. Would you even play Artifact Lands? Thank you for the donation, Lucid. Would you even play Artifact Lands in the current format? Is Hogak still too powerful? Probably. Hogak is just so fast, and you gotta remember it has the, like, combo finish aspects where it can win by, like, milling with Altar of Dementia or whatever. So I feel like the combination of it's probably too good. I actually think Hypergenesis would be fine. If I know that sounds ridiculous, but, like, we already have multiple decks that are just built around cascading into something ridiculous on turn 2, or on turn 3. Does it really matter what they're cascading into? Like, is there really that big of a difference between cascading into, haha, we have a food. Is there really that much of a difference between cascading into, Rhino's Living End, Restore Balance, Hypergenesis? Wow, we were saved by the food. Opponent hits us to 1. Wow, and scoops it up. Sun Titan. It's just high variance. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have all the Cascade decks though, I don't know. I guess it would be scary. It's a Cascade deck so it has a high deck building cost. You got a high deck building cost because you got to play big things to put into play. So the deck building cost is higher than something like Rhinos, I would say. On the other hand, it doesn't use the graveyard like Living End, so there's less things to get blown out by. So maybe Hypergenesis would be the strongest Cascade deck. But at the same time, it seems like with most of the Cascade decks, they do their thing and their thing's probably good enough. Yeah, the life gain kept us alive. Hey, what's up, Ishar? How are you? Good to see you. All right. Well, that was some good Sun Tightening. Maybe this deck can actually work. Oh, boom. Yeah, Hypergenesis just lets each player put all their permanents into play, basically. Yeah, I wonder, maybe there's an argument for actually just buying some of the ban cards, why they're cheap. Like, Splinter Twin's got to be... I mean, we've seen cards get unbanned in the past, and their prices, even if they end up not being good, skyrocket. So if they did actually unban, like, Splinter Twin or something, you gotta expect... I mean, you can even see some of the rumors of unbanning it, where the price spikes. What did Jace do when it was unbanned? So they unbanned Jace. I feel like there was a ridiculous price spike, but maybe not. So Jace unbanned. It like doubled from like 70 to 140, and then eventually gets reprinted a bunch and trends back down. Yeah, I mean, that could be a good financial move. Oh, not enough lands. Not enough lands. This is better. I think we actually still have to put Mom to the bottom. Poor Mom. How about bring more legacy vintage staples to modern? Honestly, that's what I would like to see with the... Oh no, goblins. Okay. That's what I would like to see with the next Modern Horizons. Rather than focusing as much on new cards, give us like Force Wills and Wastelands. I mean, maybe not exactly those cards, but you could make a pretty sweet reprint set that was all, yeah, sinkholes, all like really good legacy and vintage cards that aren't legal in modern. I think that would be kind of cool to try, rather than it having to be a new set each time. Well, all right, Wall Blossoms can do some blocking. The problem here is Muxus primarily. Muxus can be really difficult to beat. All right, opponent's gonna do some snooping. Warchief on top. Plays a land, goes attacking. Well, block the Prospector. About him passes. Well, we need to get rid of something. Does it have to be Prospector? It's probably got to be Prospector. Yeah, I think it's got to be Prospector, so we're going to get muxed. Soul Herder and Pioneer would be sweet, although I really don't want Master Sets in Pioneer. Really, really, really don't want that. I feel like Master Sets is the easiest way to kind of ruin Pioneer. All right, there's a War Chief. And a Crate Maker. This actually isn't the end of the world, though. All right, so we go to 9. We might have a shot here, because we can play Soul Herder. Get in with Skyclave. Hit ya. And then, end of turn, blink Skyclave. Get rid of War Chief. Pass the turn. We still have Ephemerate if something goes horribly wrong. Okay. Wait, is this bad for us? I guess that's pretty bad. Sure, another Prospector. They should print Muxus in Modern. Yeah, maybe they should. Goblins is not that strong in Modern, so it would actually probably be fine, as weird as that sounds. Opponent gonna go attacking. So if we go to blink this, they kill it? Let's block like this. Actually, okay, let's block like this. And then Ephemerate the Wall of Blossoms. I think this is okay. The problem is if we try to Ephemerate Skyclave, they can just Crate Maker it. If we do it this way, we grow this Soul Herder big enough that it kills the Snoop. We draw a card. If our opponent wants to kill it, that's okay. Yeah, early stream today because Moto is in downtime, so we're... No exciting announcements until the 14th, I think, is the start of spoiler season, or at least none that will... Yes! None that'll actually impact the stream. So if we go after this, and they kill it with Crate Maker, is that okay? Yeah, I guess. It's going to happen sooner or later. Yeah, Gen Con, I think there's announcements about future sets from Gen Con, but those will be on the weekend, so it wouldn't change our stream schedule at all. All right, opponent's going to sack. Kill this guy, Clave. Get a 3/3. We draw another Soul Herder. Hasty Lord is coming. This game is super close. Man, let's Timeless Witness. Oh, did I miss a donation? Oh, no. My apologies. Hey, Doug, I'm sorry. I think I did. We have a new donation from Day in Wildfire, $2 donation. Thank you so much, Doug. Went to my LGS last night for Commander. Played with my 17-year-old. They accidentally helped me win the game when they played Solemnity, not realizing the interaction it would have with my Mystic Remora. Oh, wait, did you just get a Mystic Remora all game? What did the rest of the people at the table think? Did they think you were teaming up since you're family? Did they think it was all a ploy? That's actually kind of hilarious. Yeah, Mystic Remora is pretty much unpayable. Goblin Chain Whirler. Does this make us dead? Probably. Boy, this Snoop has been doing serious work for our opponent. And then they can sack something to play the Lord? Oh, they don't even need to. Plays the Lord. Yeah, that looks like it does it. Good old goblins. Yeah, aggro can be tough when you're playing a super grindy slow deck. Do you think a Miri would be fine for Historic? I feel like there's no format you can really play it in right now. I think any slow card like that is probably fine for Historic. I'm not scared even a little bit by any slow card in Historic. So yes, I think Amiria would be perfectly fine. Like if you're trying to win on turn 10 or something, I think any card like that is not going to be a problem. No, because my 17-year-old ran away with the game. Well, they're playing Alea Anthem stacks. No one found any enchantment or artifact removal. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, yeah, that's hilarious. So much card draw. What cards do you want to see come to Explorer or Pioneer? That's really tough because I actually my dream for Pioneer is it develops naturally through Standard. I think I still am glad they did Modern Horizons for Modern. I know there's been downsides to it, but I think overall the upsides outweigh the downsides. On the other hand, I really like that Pioneer isn't like that. So I would prefer that we don't have any of that stuff happen in the format for a long time, if ever. So I would prefer them not to add cards to Pioneer or Historic and potentially avoid that, to have Pioneer be the one format that actually kind of plays like traditional Eternal formats, if that makes sense. Like where all the cards came through Standard at one point. What are your thoughts on Explore? I don't have time for Paper Magic, but I love watching Modern and Pioneer. Do you think Wizards will eventually make Pioneer or Modern for Arena? Well, we know that Explorer is designed to turn into... Oh, we're going to time out here. We know that Explorer is designed to turn into Pioneer eventually. So I think we will eventually have Pioneer. I think it's going to take way longer than we were hoping. But I do think eventually we will have Pioneer on Arena. Modern, I don't know how realistic that is. Like, maybe in decades, like 15 years from now, if Arena's still a thing and Magic's still a thing. By that time, though, maybe we have a brand new client or something totally different. So I'm less expecting to actually end up with Modern on the client. Although it would be awesome if it did. I mean, we've seen, even with just the pace of Pioneer, Wizards is like really going incredibly slow. They could have added Pioneer by now very easily. Or if they couldn't have done it by now, they could have done it by the end of this year very easily. Like, print a master set and you pretty much have actually done the entire thing. But Wizards, they are seemingly intentionally doing it as slow as humanly possible. Oh, all right. Well, in that case, I guess we got to play this so we can ephemer it because they're going to play this munitions expert and we need to have a creature on the battlefield. Goblins. Goblins, goblins. What cards do you want to see come back to standard that will impact Pioneer Explorer? Ooh. So I think one thing I want, and this is probably a unpopular opinion, but I would like better ways of interacting with lands. I've noticed that playing a lot of Arena recently. Maybe it can't be Blood Moon. What's an in-between option? But I feel like you have like Nykthos that just goes off. You have Gates. That sounds ridiculous, but Gates actually can be very strong and just go off because there's not really a way to stop your opponent from just like playing really powerful lands and ramping a bunch. Opponent goes with the War Chief. I don't know what that card would be though. I think that Blood Moon would be too over the top. People don't want to deal with Blood Moon as much as I would enjoy playing with Blood Moon. But so I think Blood Moon's probably too much. I am not feeling super confident about where we're at in this game. Well, let's Glass Pool. Copy the Prince. I mean, we're making 2/2s for days. Halfling to the bottom. Yeah, all right. Maybe Thragtusk can save us, like it's 2013. I mean, cards that I would just enjoy. Like, there's a lot of cool modern cards. There's so many, like, old Planeswalkers. Like, imagine, like, think of 2015 modern. A Johnny Vengeance. Lingering Souls. Some of those cards, I view Pioneer as kind of like what modern was when it first started. I think it's in a similar place. So I would love to see some of the cards that used to be good in modern, but just can't keep up anymore. I'd love to see them get a shot in oh god, that's a Muxus. I'd love to see them get a shot in Pioneer. So the Lingering Souls of the world, the Johnnies of the world, Dark Confidant. Dark Confidant would be a really cool addition. That's a card that just like doesn't have a home, but used to be so iconic. So stuff like that I think would be really interesting in Pioneer. Although again, I don't want Pioneer Horizons to add that stuff in. Like Huntmaster, that would be another good one. Bitter Blossoms. And the thing is, like, Standard has gotten so much more powerful. That we could potentially do that, right? Like, isn't that a possibility that we could actually put a Bitter Blossom or a Dark Confidant into Standard? I feel like we could. I think Bob would be okay for Standard. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe it would not be okay in this Standard where black has been the dominant color for the past year. Well, let's hope our opponent has a bad Muxing. All right, Magic Gods. How about a whiff? How about a whiff with this Muxus? So in this specific Standard, I would say maybe it's not a good time for it. But I think in general, Bob is of a power level that would be fine. They've printed several like worse Bitter Blossoms, like the Mass Bitter Blossoms. Those I think literal Bitter Blossom would be okay. Hey Seth, I already spent 1,800 points in Unseen Post. Can you check this one out for free? Ooh, let me see, Dion. About it. Ooh, munitions expert. Yeah, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. Opponent, not even muxing. Maybe they also mux. All right, yeah, okay, you got it, goblins. You got it. Oh, goblins. Arnie for hookage. Die on the phone. Arnie's one of the Aftermath cards that we haven't actually played. When a creature you control attacks, or a creature ETBs under your control attacking, you pay 2. If you do, you can put a creature card with mana value less than that creature's mana value onto the battlefield from your hand, tapped and attacking. It's a pretty funny idea. Ninjutsu is a really sneaky way to try to take advantage of it. So if you can get Arnie down, you can ninjutsu like a 4... Oh, ninjutsu like a 3-drop, and then put a 2-drop into play. And then the 2-drop you could pay 2 and put a 1-drop into play. That does seem like it'd be really funny when it goes off. I mean, it's just kind of expensive, but I guess if you think about it, it's like kind of ninjutsu, right? Like it's essentially 2 mana. You can ninjutsu anything, 1 in a red, and you can ninjutsu anything. But it has to have lesser mana value. Is there any more expensive? Are there any more expensive ninjas that we could play? It'd be sweet if we could have a 4 to put a 3 into play and a 3 to put a 2 into play. Looks like a fun idea, though. Definitely a fun idea. It kind of is. I never really thought of it that way, but it is kind of. It is kind of ninjutsu. Can you draft the Magic 30 draft? Ooh. Probably not today. Although maybe we'll do it in the future. 1 mana ninjas. Yeah, Thousand Face Shadow is really, really sweet. So you can put this into play with Arnie and then make a copy of another attacker. Thousand Face Shadow is definitely one of the coolest ninjas to come out of our return to Kamigawa. You can do some cool lines with the ninjutsu on it too, of like picking stuff up, copying something, putting it back into play, copying something. Yeah, that looks super fun. Hey, Looney! How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to do the Magic 30 draft? As far as I can tell, the Magic 30 draft is just like super chaos, essentially. It's just like all the cards legal on Arena assembled into booster packs. I'm pretty sure that's the idea. Is it just like random from everything? Hey Seth, I see you were talking about some music in your VODs. Want to know if you listened to the new Avenged Sevenfold. Also, thanks for all the content keeping me distracted. I've never really gotten to Avenged Sevenfold, so I haven't. How is their new album? Is it good? I know who they are, and I'm sure I've heard a couple of songs of them, but they've never been a band that I really get into. Return your will to play to your hand. Ooh, are we doing some bouncing? Oh, Reflector Mage. Speaking of bannings. The Reflector Mage banning, it was probably right at the time, but I will always hold it against it because that really killed. There was one moment when actual Panharmonimom was a good card in Standard. Seth Mansfield won a GP with it or something. There was like this 2-week window when it was actually like, oh my god, Panharmonimom with the Reflector Mage. Oh, that's so sweet. And then they banned Reflector Mage for non-Panharmonimom purposes, and that was the end of Panharmonimom's time in the sun. I love the images of the image of the ninjas from Neo disguising themselves as spirited companions. They're standing around and they're sun bears. People accuse the dude of being in a suit like a sun bear. Yeah, what's up with the sun bear thing? Is that real? Are they? I read an article about that. So apparently there's a zoo in China that has sun bears, but people think that they're actually humans in sun bear costumes. I'm actually hoping it's real because that would be one of the greatest things I've ever heard. But I guess I was reading the article and they said there was like actually a thing with zoos in China, that there's been instances in the past where they've like tried to pass off dogs as lions and stuff. Apparently they had a mastiff they tried to pass off as a lion, and then zoo customers became suspicious when the lion started barking at them. Oh, it's so good. Who has a zoo and is like, it's just gonna actually be a person in a bear costume? I mean, oh yeah, the story's just so, even if it's not real, the story's just so good that it's worth it. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what a sun bear looks like, honestly. I couldn't tell you, so I wouldn't know if it was real or not. I watched it a few times. I can't make up my mind. My head part very much looks like a living animal, but the lower body looks weird. Yeah, some animals just look weird, though. Like, how many of us have seen what a standing sun bear actually looks like? Probably none of us, or not many of us. So, I don't know, maybe they just got weird lower bodies. It's barely believable. Do you play Muxus, Goblin Grande, in Panharmonimom in Commander? I don't think I've ever played Muxus in Commander. Although, if I did, I would probably play Panharmonimom. Goblins have some, ooh, okay. Well, this hand's a little slow. It's a little slow. Actually, kind of a lot slow. But, we have Acidic Slime. And we have Timeless Witness. This is a hand that, if we can live long enough, we can do some sweet loopy things. Wouldn't mind finding something to do earlier in the game, though. Opponent untap land and one-time Harvester. You know what? I think we actually play the Soul Herder and make our opponent kill it if they want to. About it. Alright. Well, apparently they want to. Molten Impact. Could use another white source. Opponent gets in, hits us. Well, play Delighted Halfling. Grab the Ariad, pass the turn. Did you see the story about the man buying full dog suit and actually acted like a dog for a full day? Hey, that's kind of sweet. That's like next level cosplaying. Shieldred. Oh, white mana. Wall of Blossoms. That's the worst against Shieldred. We can play Yarian, it doesn't do it. We need a white source. Come on, Wall of Blossoms. Show us a untapped white source. Well, that kind of works. Although, ouch, we are down to 12. Skyclave, get rid of the Shieldred. Unfortunately, this Delighted Halfling doesn't make the color of mana we need here. Hey, what's up, Jesse? How are you? Hey, your lands deck looks really fun. How is it played? I wanted to ask you about it. Yeah, it does seem like we're always begging for white sources. I think part of it's because of the MDFCs. We have green MDFC, blue MDFC, but no white MDFC. So maybe we gotta add more white dual lands to account for that. Maybe we just don't have enough white. Opponent discards a land and draws a card. Well, they're not using the Blood Tithe then. Although they're Rakdos, so yeah, they have... Molten Impact's pretty strong, isn't it? Pretty strong. Alright, opponent. Going to kill our stuff. Gets a 4/4. Fable the Mirror Breaker. And passes. Yeah, that double removal spell last turn, pretty bad for us. What can we do now? So we Yarian blink this. Block, go to 2. Die to Shieldred. We need Acidic Slime. Block, blow up Fable. Hope for the best. One extra, yeah, losing the Delighted Halfling actually really hurt because, because we could have used this Ephemerate. Well, all right, we might be dead here, but we're gonna blow up the Fable, pass the dirt. We need a community stream so we can chat about random stuff. I mean, can't we just do that here? We can talk about random stuff and play Magic. You know the feeling that makes a bad card finally work as you hope? I finally had a game where Gravewaker looked busted as hell, and I loved it. Really? You made Gravewaker work? That's spicy. Well, we're down to 3. We kill a 4/4 token. This is still bad. Now there's a Plains. How do we... Oh, we just die, right? We can't beat the... Cannot beat the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. How did you make that work? Is Thespian Stage the only good card in Explorer Anthology 3? Explorer Anthology 3, I think, is the worst anthology that has ever been made. If you look at this, so, okay, Cyclonic Rift, good in Commander, so probably good for Historic Brawl. Abbot of Carol Keep, used to be good, not good anymore. Shrapnel Blast, a fun build around, but not in any competitive decks. Sylvan Scrying, good in Lotus Field, but the pieces don't exist to play Lotus Field, so bad. Idle Anabalisms, power crept out of the game. Court of Calling, legit good card that still sees play. Worlds by Worm, I don't know if you can call it good, but it does occasionally show up as a finisher in creativity. So we'll give that half a point. So Court of Calling 1 point. Worlds by Worm half a point. Judge is familiar. I love it for budget decks like 5 years ago, but doesn't see play. All the Charms, Is It Charm, I think, is the only one that actually sees a meaningful amount of play. We'll give that like a half a point. Voice of Resurgence, maybe sideboard card. Deathrite, there's no fetches. Obsidat, no Goryo's Vengeance. Obnath, I guess for Brawl. Xenagos, I guess that also is the second half of the Worldspine Worm creativity combo, so another half point. And then Thespian Stage, that's not even really a good card on Arena without having access to the rest of the Lotus Field combo pieces, but it is a like decent card overall. So yeah, there's like 2 or 3 legit good cards for 60 card formats. And then if you want to expand it out to include Historic Brawl / Commander, then like you get a bunch more, because Cyclonic Rift is good. The other Charms, like you can play them in Aragon or something, even if they're not like busted. The Omnath you would play in a Historic Brawl deck. So I think it's one of the weakest anthologies I've ever made. The Historic one, oh man, I wanted to build, I was trying to build a deck for YouTube, and I wanted to build an Obsidat deck. The pieces just straight up do not exist, though, on Arena. The pieces just are not, they're not there. We don't have any of the, like, reanimate something, exile and deter. There's no Whip of Erebos. There's no Goryo's Vengeance. So we just don't have the pieces for it. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't fix those patch notes. Like, if you gotta change it at the last minute, sure. I mean, that's awkward, but I get it. Like, for some reason, you felt like you need to change it. The part that I don't understand is why not fix the patch notes? They had to know that everyone was gonna, like, freak out about it. I think there's a functional best of 1 Explorer deck with Thespian Sage Lotus Field. Definitely not tier 1, though. Really? What would you be doing with... What would you be doing with an Explorer? Just, like, ramping? Sort of like the Lotus Field control decks, like trying to stifle your Lotus Field and go from there. Well, I mean, I guess we just get rid of this Blood Tithe Harvester out of here. I mean, I'm sure Boros Charm will come eventually, but it would have been a nice way to power up this anthology a little bit, with one of the big complaints being that it's just too powered down. That seems like that would have been a nice way to add a little more power to the anthology. Well, I think we got to keep both of these. They're not going to be good for a minute, but once they become good, like, so Skyclave we can cast next turn, and then Sun Titan the following turn. All right, we're kind of doing it. The Sun Titan's big game, as long as it doesn't get thought seized. Opponent. Pathway. And Shieldred again. Well, we got the Skyclave number 2. Really gonna get in there. Okay. Well, kill it. All right, this is working out about as good as we could hope. Skyclave. Snipe Shieldred. Play the breeding pool. And having the Charming Prince in the graveyard actually really good with Sun Titan. Next turn is going to be sweet. Opponent down to 14. Opponent, would you like to learn about the power of Sun Titan? Fable of the Mia Brega? Sure. That's fine. And kills the Skyclave. Yep. Yep. Well, good news is... Oh, actually, how greedy are we? Oh... Is there any way we can play Mom? Can we play Mom and wait and double Sun Titan? I mean, I guess we essentially get our entire graveyard anyway. All right, we got to get it out. Let's get down the Sun Titan. Sun Titan. Gonna get back the Charming Prince. Charming Prince. Gonna blink the Sun Titan. This deck has some lines that... Oh, God. We did not blink the Sun Titan. That was not intentional. My talking was right. My clicking was not as good as my talking. This was all part of the plan. We were trying to wait because now we can Elish Norn double Skyclave. So this is actually for the best, right? It's all part of the plan. All part of the plan. Attack with the Sun Titan. Get back a Skyclave. Double trigger. Get the One Ring. Get the Fable. Although if the Skyclave ever dies, we're kind of sad. Opponent double blocks. Okay, small pun. There might have been a small pun. I love Alter Pro to Slim Damage card sleeves. I know, shouldn't those exist in paper? I would buy those in paper. Another Shieldred. I mean, we have our Praetor, though, so we should be fine, right? We just need to draw another Sun Titan. Oh, my God, that's an ephemerate. That is an ephemerate. That is a good one. Well, let's, Snagging Arion. Pass the turn. Okay. How do we beat Shieldred? Opponent. Gonna get drained. Or gained. And... even more One Rings. Awkward. No protection, though. Opponent can still draw a card. Sure. Gain some life. Mount Doom. Okay. Undercity Plunder. Your opponent may discard a card. Then they may discard an additional card. If they don't, conjure a duplicate of a random card from their library into your hand. It perpetually gains you and cast mana on mana of any color. Alright. I mean, I guess we lose our ephemerate. And then our opponent can get a random card from our deck. The good news is we're about to do some Yorion things. Opponent gonna get in. Block with a Skyclave. Get drained. Hit you with Mom. Play a Yorion. Blink and blink. So the opponent gets a 7/7. But we're gonna get a bunch of ETB triggers here. So Scry 2, Snipe Shieldred, Snipe the Ring. All right, Elish Norn. Those are both really good Magic cards. Okay, we're gonna keep both of those. We're gonna keep both. Yeah. We wasted some scrying. Pass the turn. Crucius. I mean, this Timeless Witness is really, really good here. I think we're stabilizing. Like, eventually this value is just going to become... Wow, they pitched a Bowmaster. Eventually this value is just going to become kind of overwhelming for our opponent. Opponent discards our Soul Herder. Wait, it goes in... Oh, it's a duplicate. I was going to say, why is our card in their graveyard? Well, Timeless Witness comes down. Double triggers. Get back Ephemerate. Get back... Wall of Blossoms. They just discarded a Bowmasters. They just discarded the Bowmasters. Are we too afraid to play... Are we too afraid to play the Bowmasters, or play the Blossoms because of Bowmasters? Why not blink with the Arion? I mean, so I guess this is fine. So we can play Wall of Blossoms. Resolves. I mean, now we're set up where we can just loop with Yarion whenever we want. Wow, another Sun Titan too. All right, you're go. I mean, because now we can just Ephemerate the Yarion whenever we want to blink our entire board, which is kind of ridiculous about it. All right, another Bowmasters, but they discarded it. I think our opponent's thinking Elishoran just stops Bowmasters, and while it does stop the ETB, it doesn't stop them from triggering off our Wall of Blossoms and stuff. I feel like Bowmasters would still be really good there. Yeah, Timeless Witness. I think it's mostly a worse... It's mostly a worse Eternal Witness, but the Eternalize is a nice bonus. But the higher upfront cost is a drawback for sure. About it. Oh, this is gonna be good. This Ephemerate's gonna be so good. Opponent goes to combat. Opponent. I mean, I guess they could have a hard removal spell. Blank, 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 blank. Opponent. I mean, we got stuff in our graveyard we can get back. We have the Skyclave and the Delighted Halfling, so I think we have enough action. Hey, MTG Goldfish, I've got a budget modern deck. If you wouldn't mind taking a look at it. Yeah, we'll just blink the mom. We'd rather have the Ephemerate in the graveyard. So we untap. We play the land. We play the One Ring. Get a little protected. Double protected. Hit you with the Arion. Opponent down to 9. Watch us get Mount Doomed. That would be ridiculous. Yarion. Everything comes back. We will scry 2. Gain 3. Exile you. Get back a Ephemerate. Exile you. Get back a Sun Titan. Wow. Wow, what a turd. All right, everything comes back. So I guess we're still pretty protected. Because of this Ephemerate, we can do the same thing with Yarion, and this one might just be over. I think our opponent should have held on to those Bowmasters. Got this budget modern deck. Wouldn't mind taking a look at it. Please recommend any changes. I have about $12 left. Dude, let me take a look. Ooh, are we doing some budget boggles action? Wow, that actually, I mean, that looks pretty solid. So, wow, opponent scoops it up. The value, too much. So, okay. 2 hexproof creatures, Core Spirit Dancers, Light Paws, Audacity Ethereal Armor. I mean, overall, this looks pretty pretty solid. Is there anything obvious that's missing? I mean, the mana base, I guess if I was going to spend $12 more, it might be on getting more dual lands in the mana base. The main deck looks pretty reasonable. I guess one thing to consider, and this isn't going to add much to the budget, but maybe some Umbras, like Hyena Umbra or Spider Umbra, just as another cheap enchantment that offers another layer of protection to your creatures. I don't know about, like, honestly, if Kenris Transformation or Ossification is even necessary. Most of the Boggles decks I've seen in Modern, I don't think they play any removal in the main deck. You're just all in on, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to make this huge unbeatable hexproof creature and kill you. So I would probably cut the transformations and ossifications and replace those with even more auras. Probably Spider Umbra would be the first one. Spider Umbra, Hyena Umbra, some number of those. And maybe some flying. What's the enchantment that you can play from the graveyard and it gives flying? I can't think of the name of it at the moment. Could always add more flumps. Griff's Boon. Griff's Boon would be also good just to have some evasion. But overall it looks solid. Yeah, that's the one. Oh, also we have a after this game, remind me, we have so many Dreams of Oil and Steel. This card is kind of taken off since One Ring came out. We have a little trailer to watch for a bounty. Tap land go. I mean, we have the Acrobatics, which, if we can actually get things set up, is one of the most hilarious and strongest cards in the deck. Really? This card seems really strong. I guess we discard Glasspool Mimic. And Contra duplicate of a random card from their library into your hand. All right, sure, whatever. You can have one of our random cards, opponent. Well, let's run out of Floral Heater and pass the turn. Yeah, Sentinel's Eyes could be another good one. About it. Anyone have any fun plans for the rest of the summer? My mind is kind of blown that it's already, oh boy, we're about to get snowballed. My mind is kind of blown that it's already the middle of, or the beginning of August, so we're like a month to go in summer. The time is running out. Yeah, honestly, I would prefer like fall or spring. Summer gets so hot, especially these days. My God. Sheoldred. Yeah, this is looking a lot like standard from a few months ago. Opponent. And the Fatal Push off the treasure from the Fable the Mirrorbreaker. Fable the Mirrorbreaker has won every Pro Tour this year, which is wild. Kind of mind-blowing. Yeah, this game's over. Kind of mind-blowing that every Pro Tour in 3 different formats, Pioneer, Standard, Modern, it's won every single one. I actually think that when people talk about Pioneer bannings, I think that Fable deserves more. People focus on the green cards, Nykthos and Karn, and they definitely should be talked about. But I think that Fable is like a sneaky dark horse to be one of the cards that could be banned in Pioneer. Like if I was in charge of banning things, I would probably ban it in Pioneer. Did you enjoy watching the Pro Tour? I did. The Pro Tour was really fun to watch, although it was very, very up and down. I guess that's just where Modern's at. It felt like, I don't know if you all watched the Pro Tour. I'm curious if you came away with this feeling too. I felt like I got to see some of my all-time favorite games of Magic, just some really amazing, super close, interesting games. And then I also got to see a lot of non-games where it was just like one person did their thing, the other person didn't do their thing or couldn't stop their opponent's thing. And it was like, the game was determined on like turn 3 or something. Yeah, the finals is a good example. Game 4 was one of the best games of Magic I've seen in a Pro Tour. It was so good. But then Game 5 was like so anticlimactic. It was just like, oh, Double Grief, Blood Moon. I don't think Calcano, what did he play? A Relic of Progenesis maybe? Like played a spell that game before he died. So like, very up and down. It's either, there's not many middle ground games in Modern. It's either like, someone does this ridiculous snowball thing and it's a non-game. If that doesn't happen or the other player stops that, then you settle into these really interesting, long, intricate games that are incredibly cool to watch. So it's either like all or nothing, basically. Either like most interesting matches ever or like least interesting matches ever. Nothing in between. I mean, if you're gonna ban stuff in Pioneer, you're gonna take something from the current top decks, if that's the policy, Fable from Black, Red, Karn from Mono, Green. Those would be the easiest choices if you're going to ban something in Pioneer, I think. Fable or Karn. You could argue for Nykthos. Personally, I would start with Karn, because I still am kind of a Nykthos fan, honestly, but I would love to see Force Will printed as Standard and by extension Explorer. It would be bad to OK Unlimited and Standard, but great to have to stop nonsense. I am very curious about that one. They haven't even put Force of Will into Modern yet. So I'd be surprised if it jumped all the way into Pioneer. It seems like Wizards doesn't want... So Force of Will is kind of a double-edged sword. It's good at stopping nonsense, but it's also good at protecting nonsense. So that's kind of the problem with Force of Will. If you look at like Force of Negation, the like if it's not your turn clause is pretty specifically put there to make it so you can't easily use it to protect your own nonsense. So I feel like maybe that's what Wizards is thinking. Yeah, let's do our little bounty thing. So bounties, the nice thing about bounties is they're just a super easy way to do a little supporting of the stream. So we have I haven't actually watched this yet, but we have a bounty. We're watching some. Wait. Something went wrong. Please try again later. Hey, okay, here we go. So here's our trailer for an upcoming movie. Oh, it needs audio. Needs audio up. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, apparently.
Can I take it?
Oh God. Okay, might have turned it up a little too loud. Now my eardrums are blown. All right, here we go.
I'm awesome. Boys, where have you been?
We're just running errands.
That's it?
Look, we're really sorry, Springer. Some of the guys wanted to get pizza, and I tried to talk them out of it.
You ratted us out.
Hey, don't use that word that way.
I mean, it's 2023.
Sorry, Dad. Hey, guys, if we weren't monsters that were shunned by society and we could do what we wanted, what would you guys do?
Go to high school. Maybe get a girlfriend.
Can you imagine that?
Not likely.
Yes,
This is insane. Turtle, mutant, karate teens. I want to know everything about you.
Our dad is definitely not a giant rat.
That makes me feel like he's a rat.
Police are baffled by the recent crime wave led by a superfly.
Nobody's ever seen his face.
Why?
Because he kills everyone who does.
Cool.
No, not cool.
What do you think of the animation style? I'm very curious about it's definitely unique. I think I like it. I don't know. It's different.
Very cool.
Can I kick it?
We take out Superfly, and then everyone will think we're cool. They'll accept us.
Can I kick it?
He's making a deal tonight under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Can I kick? Whoa. Kick.
What the? Y'all some little tortoises, huh?
I can't believe there are other mutants.
You want to roll with us? Humans are never gonna like us. So we gonna let the mutants rule the earth.
Peoples, they got to go.
Okay, sort of a twist.
We can't stop him.
We gotta try.
6 in the morning, police at my door.
Can I kick it?
My son, Michelangelo, you have heart. Donatello, you have wisdom.
Raphael, you have bravery, and Leonardo, honor.
Enough talk! I dream about fighting every night.
You've got a rage problem, right?
It's not a problem! Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
Ha, so what do you think? So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, pretty nostalgic, right? I wonder, is this supposed to be like a kid's movie, or is this supposed to be in an adult nostalgia movie? Or is the idea that it's like a kid's movie that is also for adults? Wait, does it say Post Malone? Wait, where's this say Paul Rudd? Policy Ice Cube got some Ice Cube action. Post Malone. I wonder, is Post Malone a Ninja Turtle? Now it all makes sense now. Posty's got all the Ninja Turtle money now to get the One Ring. I mean, that seems like it would actually be kind of funny. I could get behind that. Did you watch Ninja Turtles growing up? I feel like, hey, what's up, Republic? How are you? It's a movie that 6-year-olds and their drunk 30-something parents can watch. I think that's the goal. I will say, like, Ninja Turtles are cool. I don't know if I'd go and go to the theater or watch it, but I don't go and watch hardly any. Like, I don't know when the last time I went and watched a movie in the theater was, but I would probably watch it. I do wonder, doesn't it sometimes seem like everything in Hollywood these days is like repackaging another IP? I guess maybe that's just the world. Now that I think about it, it's like everything's universes beyond. Like Barbie, Ninja Turtles. I guess that's the... Oh, it must have switched it. It must have switched it to just chatting because of the Ninja Turtles thing. I don't know why it... let me see if I can fix it. I don't know why it does it. That's the one thing I dislike about this bounty thing, is it just like messes with all the title of the stream and all the... It messes with the title of the stream. It changes the format of it, and it's not always easy to fix. Okay, hopefully. Well, now it says modern. That's also not correct. All right, maybe we're good now. Maybe I feel like it's supposed to go back automatically. So are you going to go see the Ninja Turtle movie? Yeah, I feel like we could use more new things. But I guess it's super easy because of nostalgia, right? You have people that are already like, hey, what's up, Johnny Cycle? Thanks for swinging by. It makes it easy, right? Like if you already love the Ninja Turtles, then it's much easier probably to get you to go and watch a Ninja Turtles movie than it's going to be to get you to go and watch a movie with new characters that you don't know anything about. How was the Spider-Man movie? I keep hearing, like, Richard and Krim were saying during one of the podcasts that it was like the greatest movie of the year, maybe the greatest movie of all time. Everyone should watch it. Is it actually that good, like the new Spider-Man movie? Is it okay for someone like me who is not into the X-Men really? Would I appreciate it? Is it just like such a good movie that even if you're not into X-Men stuff, you would still enjoy it? It's half a movie is my only complaint. Wait, it's only half a movie? Oh, there's a whole nother part of it? Oh, I didn't actually realize that. Well, all right. How about a Gilded Goose? Opponent, I'm probably playing Rogues. I don't know if we ever beat Rogues. There's not enough original big budget sci-fi movies coming out. Yeah, it does seem like they're all based on old IPs. It's solid, aesthetically it's stunning, the music is awesome, and the story is pretty good. I mean, I like animated stuff, so So maybe I would appreciate it just for the animation, because everyone keeps saying that the animation is like so good. So maybe it's worth it just to check out the animation. Why does this like banjo look weird? It has like, oh, it's like it's crimped or something. Do you see the top? Am I just seeing things? Doesn't it look like it's kind of crimped at the top of that banjo? I've never noticed that before. Well, we're just gonna play it anyway, and then grab our Yarion and pass the turn with our 2 gilding use honk honk. It's frankly the best animation I've ever seen. Wow. Okay, so that's like pretty high praise then. Do I like John Wick? I've never seen John Wick. I'd never seen John Wick, and then everyone started saying I had to see John Wick, so now I don't see John Wick just on principle. Can't let all the Wickers win. Everyone, no, you gotta see it. I mean, I bet I probably would actually enjoy it. I would probably like it. Prosperous Innkeeper. How do we do this? So we can one ring, but Bowmaster's kind of wrecks it. Play the Innkeeper. Silly control decks. Play this bar as headquarters. Pass the turn. We need to find a removal spell for this Bowmaster so we can do one ring stuff. Get wiki with it. You did get me to watch Lord of the Rings, and I am going to watch some Doctor Who episodes. I feel like Wizards created universes beyond to force me to learn pop culture. Or at least some like sort of nerdy segment of pop culture. Is Doctor Who like famous, like mainstream famous, or is it more cult famous? Hey Seth, I'm making a Queen Calebin crew deck in Historic Brawl. Any ideas for Boros stacks cards on Arena? Ooh, so I mean, most of the stacks cards are going to be like Thalias, Hushbringers, that kind of stuff. So I think your stacks pieces will mostly be white cards, and then the red will offer the commander, maybe some extra removal, stuff like that. So I think that's probably what you're looking for. Cult normies would never watch it. Is it like pretty sci-fi then? So it's like nerd famous. Okay. Thoughts on the Omen Pass arc being 3 years long, and how many sets per year do you think will actually be mentioned in the main story? Wait, what is Omen's Path? Is that a magic thing I haven't heard of? Well, all right, Skyclave. Do you have a counter? Well, if they do, they didn't use it. Get rid of the Bowmasters. That's big. Getting rid of the Bowmasters is big. We're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's pass for now. Let's just pass. The next story arc is being called the Omen Paths arc. I actually hadn't heard about that. I mean, I like that Wizards is trying to tie things more together. I kind of wish they'd just bring back blocks. I feel like so many of life's problems are solved by Wizards bringing back blocks. Even if they're 2 set blocks. When you read some of the stuff Mark Rosewater says, like in the state of design and that stuff, some of the stuff he talks about like wanting more unity between sets, inner block synergy, so much of it feels like players want blocks and Wizards wants blocks, but we can't have blocks, if that makes any sense. Like, a lot of Wizards' goals would be solved by blocks. A lot of our desires would be met by blocks, but blocks have some issues to keep them from coming back. So it's a very weird scenario. I do wonder though, maybe, what's One Ring? How about not countering our One Ring? How about not? About it. Opponent. What? Okay. Get negated, I guess. Well, that's awkward. All right. How about a Yarion? How are we feeling about a Yarion? Don't counter this too. How many counters are you playing over there, opponent? Sack. Eat a little food. They only have 2 cards in hand. Wait, are you scooping? You can't beat the Yarion? Oh my goodness, it resolved. Okay. Blank. Actually, no. Blank. Pick him up. I did watch Last of Us. Last of Us I thought was good. I like Last of Us. I think it's one of those... It was like it was a good show. It was overall just a good show. I don't think it falls into the like best shows of all time tier, but as far as like new shows that I've watched recently, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. The only thing I think that's kind of funny is like, so Wizards getting rid of, or not getting rid of, but minimizing Planeswalkers. That's kind of exciting. We've went through an era of like very heavy focus on Planeswalkers. So a shift away from Planeswalkers, that's something I'm kind of excited for. Not because I hate Planeswalkers, just because it'll be something different. And Planeswalkers have just been like such a big part of the game for so long that I'm excited at the possibility of something else being a big thing. On the other end, I think they're just going to take Planeswalkers and do the Aftermath thing and going to make even more legendary creatures. So I wonder if we just actually end up with even more legends as the result of the minimization of Planeswalkers. And I don't know if that's like a positive overall. So would you rather move away from stories stretch out between worlds and go back to pack stories that are kept in their own realms? I mean, I don't mind them tying the stories together. It's just weird that I don't know. I feel like Wizards hasn't really like cracked the storytelling yet. I think something that I'm worried about, and maybe I'm the only one on this, but I feel like the ending of the huge long March of Machines storyline was a little maybe anticlimactic. Like there was this huge buildup. We have these Praetors over the course, like the storyline going on for a long time. Over the course of like 2 years, a random Praetor would show up in a set. We'd have this, then we finally build to getting to Phyrexia. There's the Phyrexians. Then we get to the war. And it's just like, oh, the Phyrexians got beat by everyone. All right, okay. You know what it was like? It was like Game of Thrones. It actually had a lot of the same feelings as Game of Thrones, where you like go through 6 seasons of this awesome story to build up to this war with the Night King. You build up to the war for King's Landing, and then once you get to it, it's just like, the Night King died. Yeah, it's over. Like this all-powerful being that no one could possibly be. Hey, it's done. And it kind of had a little bit of that same feeling. So while tying together 3 years worth of sets, I'm fine with that. I think if you're going to put 3 years worth of sets into one story, you really got to make sure you nail the landing. And give the landing enough time to breathe. The landing, because that ends up diminishing the work before it, I think, which we've seen with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones went from being something that was considered to be one of the best shows of its era, or even all time, to a show that a lot of people kind of like dislike based on them not being able to stick the landing and messing up the landing. So I think that's the risk. That's the risk if you're going to take in that's a risk if you're going to have so many sets having one storyline, essentially. Hey, Seth and chat, can you all see my message? I think Twitch is being wonk. I can make a magic carp. I think you're good. Phyrexian story written by George R. R. Martin confirmed. Still waiting on his script. I mean, I think with the Game of Thrones stuff, I do think a pretty meaningful part of it was the fact that they just ran out of the source content and had to do it themselves. Conjure duplicate of a creature card in your opponent's... Huh? Wow. Wait, is this card just busted? I know it's an alchemy card, but is this... Counter... So this is a Dimir Negate that can also copy a creature from the graveyard and conjure a spell from a spellbook? That card actually just seems like busted, right? Oh, yeah, maybe stuff. The chat has been like a little back and forth, so it might be that some of your messages don't make it and others do. People have been saying that Twitch is having issues today. Is there a deck list somewhere? Yes. Exclamation point deck will bring up the deck list about it. Sauron's Ransom again. Okay, so opponent's just gonna draw all the cards. This is gonna be obnoxious. Going to be annoying. I mean, what do y'all think about having a 3-year story? What's your take on the Center of the Earth vibe for the upcoming Ixalan set? I mean, I think it looks cool. Although I think expectations are going to need to be managed. I think it's probably going to be a lot different than maybe we're expecting. Clicked expecting Primeval Titan. But Sun Titan is the better Titan. Actually, no. Primeval Titan's the best Titan, but Sun Titan's really sweet, too. What's not sweet is that our opponent has conjured a handful of cards, and we are doing kind of nothing. And even if we try to do something, it's going to get countered. At least we have all the food in the world. And our opponent's technically down to 6. Well, we actually have 10 food. Well, we're not going to die anytime soon, but we're also not going to win anytime soon. So I think that Ixalan, didn't Mark Rosewater say that something to the extent of it's not exactly Ixalan, but they felt like they wanted to do this Underworld set, and Ixalan was just like the plane that it seemed to fit best in. So I feel like if you're expecting Ixalan, I was expecting Ixalan 2.0. Like, we're going to go back, we're going to see more dinosaurs and pirates and the same stuff that we saw before. That was my initial expectation. But after hearing Mark Rosewater actually talk about this set, I think the expectation's probably off. And I think it's going to be something, oh God. Our geese. And I think it's going to be a little different than we actually expected it to be. May I ask you a silly question? Do you ever do interviews? I'm working on a website. Would love to pick your brain. Yeah, send me an email. SaffronOlive@mtggoldfish.com. And we can figure something out. Are you going to bring a food deck on Commander Clash? So I played the food deck, the Samwise Gamgee food deck on stream. I usually try not to use the same deck twice in a row, so I don't know if I'll actually play it on Commander Clash. The deck is really sweet though. You can see it on the stream VOD if you want to see it in action. Well, another land go. Is it worth continuing to play this game? Or have we just set ourselves up to not lose for a very long time, but not resolve a spell for a very long time? I don't know if it's worth it continuing or not, honestly. What are your thoughts on the mechanics that can... what are your thoughts on mechanics that can't be interacted with, such as Monarch Dungeons, The Ring? Do you think those are good for the game? Do you wish those mechanics never existed? So traditionally, my thinking was everything should be able to be answered. I was one of the people who I would still prefer that, like, Planeswalker emblems, there was a way to remove them. So we've just seen things can go very wrong when you can't interact with things, if that makes sense. Like, we've seen energy be very problematic when it was in standard because there was no way to remove it. So there's a big risk when you make mechanics and cards that literally cannot be interacted with. At the same time, like the Monarch, I think is a great mechanic in multiplayer formats. Dungeons kind of broke Legacy, but they're okay. Like, I don't know. Should they not exist, period? In small doses, if you're very careful with them, I think they can be okay. But as a general rule, I think they should be few and far between. And if Wizards does decide to make mechanics you can't interact with, they got to be very, very careful, or else you're just setting up for having to ban a ton of cards. Like the end result of that is almost assuredly you got to ban a ton of stuff, because people love to say like, oh, well, let the meta adjust. Like the One Ring, yeah, it's really good. Give the meta time to adjust. Let the meta adjust to it. There's not a way to do that if there's literally no ways you can interact with something. You can't even have the conversation of like, oh, let the meta adjust, because you can't. What's it going to adjust to? Like, you can't adjust to something that literally doesn't exist. So I think few and far between, carefully thought out, those mechanics can be okay in small numbers. But it's not something I want to see Wizards lean into super heavily. I'm a little nervous that we're getting like one a year now. And if you just keep doing that, maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe Initiative and Legacy was the first time it happened. But sooner or later, we're going to have one that's super busted, and it's going to be a big problem. Yeah, I guess the Monarch also was problematic for, yeah, you can link any safe Magic sites in here. The Monarch actually ended up being kind of problematic in 1v1 formats. Mostly in Pauper, but still, like, the fact that you can't interact with it did end up causing issues. And it wasn't even, like, Legacy playable at a time. Like, I think it still sees a bit of Legacy play, but Initiative is kind of taken off as the big one. The Ring is fixed dungeons. You never had a real choice with dungeon 80% of the time. The Skull, Loot, Basilisk, Drain for 3 is easy to remember. Yeah, I mean, the Ring, I think of the Ring as like a weird equipment. That's the way my brain kind of conceptualizes it. It's like a weird equipment that you can't actually remove. But in the case of the Ring, I think it's okay that you can't remove it, because it's just like not super powerful. If it was stronger, then we'd have a concern. But it's kind of like I don't know, like a medium to low powered equipment that has the upside that is whenever you're tempted by the Ring, you put it on something, so it's never going to be permanently removed from the game. Well, let me see. Boom, some Dimir control, eh? Kaido. Kaido's such a good card. I always feel like Kaido should see more play. How's Phyrexian Arena been? Phyrexian Arena, I love Phyrexian Arena. I was so hyped for it, and then, oh my god, I got wrecked by Shieldred so many times. Just trying to run out Phyrexian Arena in Standard. That looks sweet. I mean, we're in the control meta now in Standard. If you look at Standard, I don't know. Do you think they should ban Shieldred? Is it time? Have we gotten to the point where we should ban Shieldred? Look at this meta. So this is the meta heading into Wilds of Eldraine, our new standard set. No rotation, of course, this year. Playmorphlump. Welcome to the Fishbowl for the 3rd month. I might have to take your advice. Thank you for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you. This is the meta heading into our new set. Mono Black mid-range. Dimir mid-range and aggro. Depending on how you think about these decks, they're pretty similar in the cards that they play. Like, if you look at Dimir, it's like, basically the same deck, except I get access to Fairy Mastermind and Kaido and counter spells. Dimir midrange, I actually don't even know. Like, I guess it's Dimir aggro, but you got another 4-drop in Urtai. Like, I'm not even sure how we're classifying these, what the difference is between the two of them. But that, if you add those together, that's a big chunk of the meta that's black or black splash. Esper Control, very different, but still another deck with a lot of black in it. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious about what they do, if anything, with Standard. Let's just ban Standard. But Wizards is trying to improve Standard, remember? That's the That's the whole thing. That's the whole gimmick. I guess we just Innkeeper since they're probably gonna fatal push it. It'd be funny if the BNR they just ban all the sets that would have rotated anyway. They obviously won't do that, but it would be hilarious if they just took and banned all the sets instead of rotating them. Kamigawa banned, both Innistrad sets banned. Come on, no Bowmasters. Sorry, no Bowmasters. Pass the turn. Yeah, the cost of Shieldred's not great. So I've actually been working about on a video about the most expensive card during each year in Magic. And one of the things that's interesting to me is people always bring up Mythics as being a big problem. Did Mythics make the game of Magic more expensive? And that's something a lot of people have brought up over the years as criticism for the Mythic rarity. And I've always been like, well, I don't think it makes the game more expensive overall. I think that... Well, I guess you're getting 3 lands. So I don't think it makes the game more expensive overall. Wow, they dumped the 3 lands. All right, I guess that's fine. But then I was looking through the prices of cards over the years, and one thing that Mythics definitely did do is it definitely made the most expensive cards from a set more expensive. Because if you go back through, discounting like Alpha, like the early years, but if you go back through like 1995 through 2009 or whatever, when Mythic started, the most expensive card of a year was usually around $30. Sometimes it was $20. That was the ceiling. That was the top end. That was the Shieldred. That was the Ragavan. That was the most expensive card printed during that year, which is still obviously a lot of money. If you're building a Magic deck and you're putting a bunch of those cards in it, you're still going to end up spending hundreds of dollars to put together the deck. But that was kind of the price ceiling. That's as high as it goes. And then once Mythics came out, that essentially just doubled to like, okay, Baneslayer, $50. Jace the Mind Sculptor, $100. Jace Vryn's Prodigy, $90. So even though I think overall, if you look at an entire set, I don't think Mythics actually made the game more expensive. I do think that it might have made building decks more expensive just because the most powerful, most chased cards from a set went way up in price. Hey, what's up, Rooker? How are you? Been working, taking a break from Magic to develop an app. Ooh, what is your app about, Rooker? Or if it's a secret, don't tell me. That's sweet. Oh, about it. So yeah, that made me think that I think Mythics maybe did have an impact, even if it's maybe not as cut and dried as some people think, but I think it did have an influence for sure. Because all this to say, like, Shieldred, if Mythics weren't a thing, Shieldred would probably be $30 at its highest. Maybe it's even better than any other card. It's like $35 or something. But that's kind of the peak before Mythics came around for the most expensive cards of the entire year. So I think we'd see like Sorin be much less. Or Shieldred would be much less expensive. But then I think the trade-off would be, if you look at Standard, the trade-off would be a lot of other stuff would be way more expensive. Like, I think we'd see a lot of these lands. I think those would be almost double in price, most likely. So that's why, in some ways, I guess it evens out in the end. Like, your rares are cheaper than they would be in the past overall, but then your mythics get more expensive. It still hurts, though, to see one card that's like the most popular card in what is supposed to be the most accessible format, right? Standard's supposed to be the easy one that you can actually get into compared to like Modern or Legacy or whatever. Still a big ask in paper to actually just get the cards. Yeah, I mean, I guess you also have inflation added in there to some extent. All right. we have just not really gotten any velocity. Like, we're not dying. We're just not doing anything cool. We're not drawing any cards. We're not doing any Panharmonimoming. I actually think 3-year rotation probably makes things more expensive, unfortunately. Which is definitely kind of awkward. A more limited pool of rares and wider pool of less powerful mythics would be best for the game. This way, retailers can open product until people can buy the rares they need. WotC gets the same money regardless of the secondary market. And there's more interesting stuff out there. Oh, and uncommon duels would let people build more decks with the same budget without giving up pack value. Uncommon duels would be really good. That's a change I would love to see. But Wizards, I think, is not likely to do that. I think Wizards really views rare lands as being necessary to be able to sell their booster packs. I think for Wizards that is, oh boy, so many Bowmasters. I think that's Wizards' big issue. Like, and I guess I can't blame them for thinking of it that way to some extent, because in the past that might have been true. Like, their traditional model is like make these expensive lands. Although even that, when I was going back through like the card prices, when they first put out the fetch lands in Onslaught, the best land cycle in the literal history of the game, I think you can argue that fetches are even better than alpha beta duels, but maybe second best if you want to say alpha beta duels. But even those in standard were like $10, $11, like somewhere in that price range. That's still like not cheap. And yes, it's been 20 years, so you got some inflation in there, but still like $10. $10, that's not that much. Yeah, fetch lands were actually very accessible when they first came out. Well, all right, let's get rid of another Bowmasters. I really wish we had some card draw. That is the biggest thing we're missing here. Like, we can ephemerate stuff, we just aren't. All right, I guess we got to do this now and waste an ephemerate. We do need this Bowmasters to go away, because someday we would like to draw a card draw and do fun things. All right. Skyclave returns. Bowmasters down. And opponent discarded a land. That's kind of a win-win. Last card. Another Sauron's Ransom. Well, that's annoying. Well, counters versus non-counters, I guess. All action. Hot take, fetches are the best land in Modern. They might actually be. Or the best card in Modern. They're probably the most impactful. Like, if you could remove any card from Modern, what card would make the format change the most? Probably fetch lands. Like, if you remove the fetch lands, Modern would be an entirely different world. Like, many of the best decks would not exist. You can see the difference, honestly. Just look at the Modern metagame. Opponent gonna get in, yeah. We need a way to interact with the ring. Looting every turn. 2 OP. Well, I mean, oh yeah, we can't even block it. Oh, we're gonna lose to the ring. After mocking the power of the ring, we're about to lose to it. Would Modern just be Pioneer without fetches? I mean, it wouldn't exactly be Pioneer, but it would be more similar to Pioneer than it is currently. Well, get it with the Aryan. Hit ya. Gilded Goose Honk Honk. But, like, if you look at the metagame, a lot of decks, like, without fetch lands, Omnath is not a deck. 5-color creativity is not a deck. Living End would look much, much differently. Domain Zoo would not exist. If you go to Pioneer, Pioneer's a lot of 1 and 2 color decks. Yes, there's like very specific decks like Hidden Stirrings that manage to make 5 color work because of Lotus Field, but even 3 color decks are relatively rare. Like monocolor, 2 color, 2 color, monocolor, 2 color, 2 color. Abs Angry's Fang is 3 color. Hidden Stirrings is an exception, creativity, but really that is the impact of fetch lands. In Modern, you see many more 5 color decks, many more 3 color decks, many more 4 color decks. And that is essentially just because, yeah, 4 color is not really a deck without the fetch lands. So I think that Modern, if there were no fetches in Modern, would it be the same as Pioneer? I mean, it still has another decade of cards, so I think you'd still see a lot of different decks. It still has all the Modern Horizon stuff. You would still see that. Something like Rakdos Scam. You could ban the fetch lands, and it would be, sure, probably less consistent if you didn't have like the best mana fixing lands, but it would still be almost exactly the same. So I think the metagames would still look very different. But yeah, you would see way, way, way less 3, 4, 5 color decks than you do today for sure. One thing I hate about fetches is the anti-synergy with lands that don't have basic land types. You just can't play fast lands in Modern, while mana is more interesting in Explorer Pioneer. That's actually a good point. Hey, see you, Die. Thanks for hanging out. Have a wonderful afternoon. Ooh. Pithing needle, eh? All right, well, I guess we gotta crack our food. I'm not sure that we can win this race. Can we win this race? So make disappear doesn't matter too much. Yeah, this might be famous last words. It might end up mattering a lot. About it. What do you got about it? What are we naming? Gilded Goose? I mean, I guess they saw One Ring, so I assume they brought this in for the One Ring. Okay, they're still gonna name the One Ring just in case. Sure. We draw. Boy, this has been the clunkiest drawing. Well, attack. About it. Down to 5. Pass the turn. Opponent. Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards. Oh, we are so close and so far away. And they have a Hall of the Storm Giant, which we got to keep in mind. Cut down the Skyclave. All right, let's Gilded Goose. Make a food. We could be dead here. Ephemerate, Blinkyarion. We can pay for the make disappear. Do they have a hard counter? Come on, hold. Please. About it. I wonder how Pioneer would change if fetches were unbanned, but every dual land that can fetch them untapped was banned. So fetches without dual lands that you can fetch are pretty bad. So I guess, like, being tapped isn't the end of the world. You could still, I think that you would still see tons of 5-color decks because of triomes. If you had fetches that could only fetch basic lands, let's say, I think those would have minimal to no impact on competitive formats. Are we dead? So they need to kill the Yarion and be able to fire up the Hall of the Storm Giants. Hopefully they can't do that. I guess the problem is if they fire up Hall of the Storm Giants, yeah, we're still going to have to block it, and that's gonna make it hard for us to win. Control. Mono red prowess with Underworld Breach became very good. Wait, what format did it become good in? About it. Getting in. Sure. Discards the counter. Yeah, not looking good. Boy, we just... I mean, I guess that's the downside of playing 82 cards is you don't have that much consistency. The deck does really, really sweet things when we get the early card draw and get to, like, start churning through our deck. When you don't get that, though, it is another story altogether. That's what we're seeing here, where, like, our opponent has drawn half their deck. We have drawn... I don't think we've drawn any extra cards. Like, we have done... There's just a huge difference in how many cards our opponent's seen versus how many cards we've seen. And our deck is supposed to be a card draw deck. Well, let's... Yeah. I mean, I guess blink the Gilded Goose. Blink the Gilded Goose. Wait, should we have blocked... We should have blocked the 2-2? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wait, wouldn't we be dead? So we've taken 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Drown in the lock. Wow. Well, I mean, we wouldn't have won either way, I guess. Yeah, now we're super duper. Yeah, there's just no way out of it. So we can chump and gain life, it just doesn't do anything about it. Hey, what's up, Eldrani? I love you too. Welcome to the stream. So I don't think you can actually Pithing Needle food because you have to name a card, and a token isn't a legal magic card. Wow, they didn't even fire it up. Interesting. They didn't even fire it up. But yeah, so you can't name a token because a token's not a card. They could name the Gilded Goose to keep us from doing this, making more food or needing more food. Why no Green Titan? We just don't really have anything to do with it. Like, I guess getting some lands is fine, but we don't have any lands that are especially interesting. With what this deck is trying to do, I think that, I think Sun Titan's the best Titan, and then Frost Titan's maybe the second best Titan. Boom, Glasspool Mimic. What awkward. What awkward running. Where's our card draw? Where's the card draw? About it. I mean, this is literally Glasspool Mimic on Gilded Goose. Hey, see you, Monkasir. Thanks for hanging out. Opponent. Counter spell. Wow. Couldn't our opponent have won this like multiple times over? Okay, now we're definitely dead, right? Well, I guess we can. So we chump. I mean, I guess we're not literally dead. We will play it to the most bitter events, but I think we're dead. What's the record? I think we're 2-2 overall with the deck since we. Oh, our opponents had, okay, opponents had it for like a million years. Okay. I don't know. Opponents, I mean, I guess they're the control deck. I guess our opponent's thinking, there's no rush. I can literally not possibly lose this game. The only way I lose is if I try to be too fast or too greedy. So, sorry if you answered this question, but what card did you eat the other day while waiting for the opponent to non-lethally combo off infinitely? It was a random common. I want to say it was Marchesa's. I don't know. I had a pile of a vault common. I don't know. It's a black thing that makes you the monarch. I can't remember the name of it right now. Marchesa's infiltrator. I don't know. It saw a little bit of playing pauper at one point. But yeah, whatever the black common is that was in a master set and it makes you the monarch. Do you think that modern Amiria is prime time worth it? No. Thorn of the Black Rose. Yes, that's what it is. That's the one. I mean, I didn't actually eat it. I didn't actually eat the entire card. No. I'm sure that's probably not healthy. It didn't even taste that good, honestly. It was okay, but better than anchovies, slightly. If I had to choose between a Thorn of the Black Rose and an anchovy, I would choose the Thorn of the Black Rose, but otherwise. So what did we learn? What was our record with this deck? We can look it up. I think we went 2-3 with the deck. So the deck, not very consistent. Plus, we drew a little clunky. I think we added the Panharmonimom for the meme factor. Panharmonimom, as much as it pains me, it's just not. It's been power crept, which I guess in some ways is a good thing. It got power crept by by an Elishnorn, which is very, very strong. But overall, I mean, I don't think the deck's like super strong. It does do some fun things though. I wish we could have got to see more of the like what Lazelle's acrobatics can actually do, some of the like value loops that it offers. But I guess they just don't come up very often. But when they do, the dream scenario, maybe it's better in Historic Brawl with a bunch of tutors. I don't know. But I like the deck. I think Sun Titan certainly showed that it's still a really good card, even in 2023. But overall, little slow, a little clunky to really be competitive. But on that note, everyone, I think that brings us to the end of our stream for today. Moto's gonna be coming back up, so I gotta go do some Commander clashing. So next week, as far as I know, hopefully nothing crazy happens, but we should be back to normal streaming schedule. Follow-up question: would you equip a Shadow Sphere to a Mere Battle Sphere? Oh, I like the rhyming. Of course, obviously, Shadow Sphere's a perfect target for a Shadow Sphere. So reminders on the way out the door: replay YouTube this week, find all the old streams, including this one in the future, normal YouTube. Check out tomorrow's Modern Matcha Brew. The deck is pretty interesting. And one more shout out to our sponsor, Card Kingdom. If you need some Magic cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish. And most importantly, thanks to each and every one of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome and spectacular. And I love you all so very much. Have an amazing night. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday for the next stream, 2 o'clock Eastern. So until then, everyone, no matter, hey, Nesmith, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. Oh, send me your list real quick, Nesmith, before I sign off. I'll give a look. Yeah, things got messed up today schedule-wise because we're a long story, but essentially was supposed to do Commander Clash this afternoon. Normally I do Commander Clash in the afternoon and then stream afterwards, but Moto never does downtime on Thursday, but for some reason they pushed yesterday's downtime to today, so Moto's down, so I had to switch the schedule so I could stream and then do Commander Clash. Black-white tokens for Historic. Ooh, that looks sweet. Battle Screech, Lingering Slows, Bowmasters. I mean, that looks. I actually was just playing. We played some black-white tokens. A little bit as our backup deck last stream. I think it looks fairly similar. I think we ended up in kind of a similar place. I'm playing a bunch of Cabrilla Takedowns. I really like Cabrilla Takedown. What else is different between our decks? I guess I didn't have any Adelenes, although Adeline does seem sweet. I was playing Start Finish, which I don't know if Start Finish is worth it or not. It's an interesting way to sneak a little more removal into the deck. It's like 2 inefficient effects, but a little bit like a charm. Sometimes having both of them together is good. But overall, I mean, it looks sweet as. I think Black-White Tokens is a pretty sweet sleeper deck for Historic, where every time I played it does way better than I think, and I think the list looks sweet. So anyway, everyone, I love y'all. Whether you're magicking or not magicking, have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.